welcome to today's episode of the Arnette Report, which is a video business magazine that's designed to illustrate best practice examples about how local merchants and organizations are going about doing their marketing and advertising. I'm your host, Jeff Arnette, and my first guest tonight is Greg Ballard, a business coach. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
Now, does business coach kind of cover what you do?
Yeah,
That's
kind
good.
of.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm from Albany, New York. Actually just moved here about a year ago, coming up 1 week, it'll be a year next week. And so we've really enjoyed being in the area and getting to know some people and getting to know some of Northern Virginia.
Now, when you were a kid, you didn't tell your mom, I'm going to grow up and be a business coach. So how in the world did you get into that?
That's a great question, Jeff. So I actually didn't know what coaching was until about 2009. I was actually in a coaching relationship, but I thought I was being mentored. So this guy that I had met, he was a leader in our local church and kind of had some skills that I was thinking he could help me with. And so I said, would you mentor me? And we began meeting every Tuesday morning for breakfast. And after a couple of years, he said, you know, I'm not mentoring you, I'm coaching you. I had no idea what it was. I mean, the only thing I could think of as coaching was my wrestling coach and my soccer coach. And so over the next couple of years, I began to understand what coaching was all about. And in 2011, I actually went through some formal training. And that's when I really began to get the concepts under coaching and begin to use them in my own leadership and management.
So why did you choose to be a coach?
Well, I love people. I love helping people grow. Mm-hmm. And coaching is really accelerated growth. When you understand what coaching can do and how it can help, it helps people move forward through the challenges that they're facing in a way that is consistent, in a way that gets them where they want to go.
Now, how has your life been affected by being a coach?
Yeah, so that's another great question. So when I joined the team at Grace Fellowship in 2008, I came in, as a full-time staff member. But within 5 years, I was basically promoted several different times. To the point of actually launching a new location, which is one of other four people had that role. And so I'm grateful to God for what I was given through that, but I also credit coaching. My salary nearly doubled in 5 years, and my role expanded basically every year. And I credit a lot of that to the coaching that I received.
Just out of curiosity, for someone who's never been coached before, how long is that process? Is it short or long? Or?
Well, that's another interesting point, because coaching is about tiny tweaks. And so I could have a coaching conversation with you right now in a span of 25 to 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that could maybe make some movement happen for you. But you're really going to see benefit when you explore coaching over a long period of time, when you really embrace it as a way of investing in yourself. Think 6 months, 12 months, or multiple years of coaching.
How can the client get the most out of that?
Yeah, so when you enter a coaching space, depending on the type of coach you're working with, and maybe we talk about that in a moment, the coaching that I do is really self-discovery and is really client-centered coaching. And so in order for a client to take advantage of that, they've got to understand how that works. So they want to come to a session knowing what they want to work on. They want to be able to be very honest with themselves and really allow themselves to just process what's going on for them. And then allow the questions that are asked in the session to really kind of open things up. What I've found most of the time is that the deepest impacts don't happen in session, they happen in between sessions.
Yeah.
So 2 or 3 days later, you wake up or you're taking a shower and this aha moment comes up. That conversation that you had in your coaching session just clicked, and you now see everything in a very different way. And you begin to process through that and make some changes in your behaviors or your attitudes.
So there's some people out there listening to this, they figure out what kind of coaching would you say that you would benefit the most from?
Well, that's really kind of a very unique question, in the sense of it's going to depend on what you need. So one of the things, and I wanted to kind of draw this out today, Jeff, is that the coaching industry is really kind of struggling in the marketing space. A lot of people don't understand what coaching is. And you can go to like the ICF website and get a definition of coaching. You can go to Wikipedia and get a definition of coaching. You can talk to somebody and say, what do you think a coach is? And you're going to get very, very different responses of what a coach is. There's a traditional definition of the profession, but then there's the market understanding of that. And what I've come to kind of for myself digest is that the market is really the one that's going to define coaching. And if you look at it in its simplest term, to coach is to help somebody move forward, to help somebody move from where they are to where they want to go. And if you look at the etymology of the word, you know, we used coaches, horses and buggies.
Yeah.
You fly coach on airplanes. You hire, you can hire a bus as a coach. It's all about transporting people, moving them from one place to another. So I use that image of the horse and carriage to kind of overshadow all of the coaching industry. But then I have 3 other images to kind of differentiate the types of coaches that are in that space. And the first one is the whistle. We all can relate to a sports coach, you know, that
Right.
person that drives you to be your best, that pushes you beyond what you would normally do.
Yeah.
The second one is I call the potion coach. And this is the type of coach that they've been there, they've done that. They have the results, they have the experience. They have figured out a formula, a potion, to
Right.
help you get what you want, to help you get where you want to go. That may be a specific sales training or a specific speaking engagement training or something very specific. They have figured out the formula to help people move forward. They have a potion.
Right.
And then the last one is the mirror. And the mirror is the type of coach that says, I'm going to hold up a mirror to you and allow you to see who you are. And you can choose if that's who you want to continue to be. Very self-discovery, very client-centered. All 3 are very valuable types of coaching, but they all have different applications.
Now, you mentioned the client-centered coaching. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So what I mean by that is, so a traditional, a certified professional coach, let's say through the ICF, is going to honor the ICF standards and definition of coaching, which is client-centered. Meaning, when we enter a session, I typically ask my client, what do you want to work on today? See, I see the client as the expert. I'm not here to bring technical expertise or experience into this session. I'm here to draw it out of the client. And the reason we do that is that people, advice is a funny thing. We give advice sometimes and we see what people do with it. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. A lot of times it's hard for us to receive somebody else's counsel. However, if it's our own counsel, it's really hard to deny, right? And so this client-centered coaching, the self-discovery style of coaching, allows the client to advise themselves on what they want to do to move through their challenge. And the coach brings accountability, helps draw that out. And we see a lot of success in people that may not be able to, say, receive a potion coach.
Right. That makes sense. Now, surely you've seen some results of varying kinds. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've recently worked with a client and we worked through a branding process and helped her to unpack some of the deeper values that she has. And just through coaching, helped her discover a completely different brand for herself. And it was really actually brought out. She was in a video segment, kind of like this. And the videographer commented about she uses a lot of high-end words, like dollar words, 50-cent words. and felt like maybe she should kind of soften those down. And so we explored that in coaching, only to discover that she has had a passion around words her entire life. And now she's going to be building her brand around being a language and word coach and helping people to be recognized and be kind of come out of the obscurity by using more effective language.
And that's part of the languaging and communication styles, which is so critical to business.
Right.
So when you think of the benefits of coaching in general, what comes to mind?
The benefits of coaching, there's many, and they apply to people differently. So for me, I love the fact that I can go to a coach, and I have a couple coaches I go to, and I can process whatever. It's a space where I can be completely honest with myself, and I don't have to worry about my coach judging me, telling me I'm doing something wrong. And then I get prompted with some very powerful questions that really force me to look at myself in the mirror and say, is this who I want to continue to be? And so for me, the benefit is, again, that accelerated growth. I get to move through things. I get to see myself in a way that I wouldn't necessarily see. A coach is that person in your corner that will say things to you or help you see things that everybody else hopes you'll see, but they won't say.
Yeah. Interesting. And when you think about in a business environment, one of the things you mentioned that kind of ticked off was having something to do with leadership and teamwork. I was wondering if you could touch on that.
So that's really my drive into coaching, is to help invest in leadership. In my previous role, working with a multi-site church, 90% of what we did was to invest in leaders, to develop other leaders and to build teams. And so I spent a number of years working with that, worked with a number of people to help them develop in their own leadership. And so when I look out into the world, we know that there are strong leaders, there's effective leaders, there's growing leaders, there's weak leaders. When a leader is off, when they're missing something, everybody is affected by that.
Yeah.
Them, their family, their team, their families, and even in an organization, everyone, the client, the customer.
They're supposed to be leading the team.
And so if leaders are out of line or out of tune, the world's impacted by that. However, if a leader is on, if they click, if they get it, everyone benefits. So if I can invest myself in what I've learned and my life, my energy into helping leaders do better, then I'm doing a great thing and I'm enjoying that.
Wow. Let's talk about some of the more common subject matter that comes up when business, like disc profiles and things like that. Can you elaborate on what's to be gained from something like that?
Yeah, so I've used DISC for a number of years, and what I've found is it is so simple to understand, and it is yet so powerful of a tool, especially in an organization. When you have an organization of 50 to 100 or more, and you're interacting with people, there's different personality styles. And if you're not educated on what those personalities are, then you're going to have a hard time relating and connecting. And so DISC allows you, in a very simple way, to frame those personalities and to be able to relate to them, to understand your own personality and to relate to others. It can improve communication, improve dialogue, and overall operational efficiency. It's just a very powerful but simple tool.
In 30 seconds, can you give me the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team?
Absolutely. Trust, conflict, we call healthy conflict, commitment, accountability, and results.
How can folks get in touch with you?
They can visit my website, or they can email, or they can send me an email.
Sounds great. And would you mind coming back again, maybe in a couple months, and we'll talk some more about
Absolutely.
this, right? And Greg can easily be reached. The information should be at the end of the scroll, so you get a chance to call him. If you have any questions, he's open to talk, and it doesn't cost anything, right?
Absolutely.
That'll be great. We'll be right back with Divine Mercy Care. Welcome back to our next segment here on the Arnette Report, where we've got a well-known, but probably not well enough known, nonprofit here with Divine Mercy Care, the new executive officer, and his name is Will Waldron. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
So, Will, a lot of folks probably don't really know about Divine Mercy Care. I was wondering if maybe, you could tell us a little bit about what it's about.
Yeah, Divine Mercy Care is really, its mission is to transform hearts through medicine. And what we do is we are the nonprofit arm that oversees and works with Divine Mercy Care, works with Tepeyac Family Center. And Tepeyac Family Center is a 5-doctor practice of OBGYNs and who really practice pro-life medicine. And work with women a variety of women, from a variety of ages, from teenagers to menopausal women, and from women who can afford pregnancy to women who cannot. And so one of the things that we want to do continuously is kind of take the economic question or variable out of the decision-making process. So women who may be abortion-minded are really finding a place, a home where they can actually, are secure in their decision and are being supported and with good medicine.
So the program continues while you're doing fundraising.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So one of the key issues is with these 5 doctors, you have a third of our patients really are women who are coming from crisis pregnancy centers. They don't have the resources. They don't have insurance, and they come to us really with nothing to really offer. And so what we can do is through fundraising and awareness, and we work with churches, both Catholic and Protestant churches, to really engage women. And engage them into the process of really adopting these moms and really saying, listen, we're gonna help you out, we're gonna guide you through this process, and we're gonna help you from a financial standpoint and really a spiritual standpoint. We ask them to pray for our patients and our doctors.
It's got to be kind of challenging balancing the fundraising aspects and the programs itself, right?
Absolutely. I think the key issue there is programmatically you've got the doctors and the midwife and the physician's assistant and medical care providers. They're working on the patients. From us, on our standpoint, the different programs that we are running is really engaging donors and pro-choice or pro-life individuals who really want to support these women and support these doctors in their mission. We're really out there to try to, from a fundraising perspective, is educate people on the mission and what we do, and really unify the cause. You've got so many groups of people, whether they be Catholic or Protestant, different Christian groups across the country who are passionate about this type of medicine, but really are kind of working in their own silos. And so one of the things that we're constantly working on, and it's something that we're in conversation with people across the country on a weekly, daily basis, and trying to unify them and pull them together.
You know, something I was going to ask you, I was kind of curious about the difference between a fundraising letter and a newsletter.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of times people try to combine them all in one. And honestly, the newsletter really kind of talks about the mission, what's going on, what's happening, what are the success stories that are happening within the organization. Whereas a fundraising letter is going to be one that's going to be a targeted approach. It's going to be something that's going to be specific about an issue or a program that we really want to raise money for. So, for instance, we're in the middle of really kind of promoting a new program, this Adopt a Mother program, where we've got churches who are supporting us at a modest level, and we really are trying to get them to increase their support and really undertake the cost of what it takes to provide for a mom. So from start to finish, it's about $7,500, and to underwrite the cost of that, and it allows the church or group or Knights of Columbus, whoever it might be, an individual even, to actually kind of see and the impact of what they're doing is from a donor's perspective. And it's really a very powerful thing in the end.
How important is the thanking aspect of, for somebody makes a donation, to make sure that you go out of your way to thank them for what they do?
It's vital. I think if you don't do it right, I think we're all, if we all look back and we think about and check our mailboxes, we're all getting direct mail from a variety of different good causes out there, right? And it's the ones that when we're thanked effectively and personally, those are the ones we kind of turn around and kind of re-up, especially if we're really gravitating to their mission. And for us, it's a variety of ways. It's, of course, the traditional thank you letter, but it's picking up the phone. It's also doing a stewardship program where the donors kind of have an interaction or have a relationship with the doctors and in some cases the patients, and they see the impact of their contribution.
That seems very important, because I can't think of the last time that I made a donation to somebody and I got a call. Yeah. It's always, maybe a thank you note in another envelope.
Yeah.
But that's really kind of a neat aspect. Tell us about the impact and the power behind the storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling to me is vital. When you make a pitch or a solicitation for whatever given program that you're working on, and for our case, it's for these doctors and they're practicing medicine. It's for the moms in the end and the babies that they're carrying. But when you kind of making a pitch and appeal, and to tell a story that appeals to the head, that's one thing. It's illogical. It makes sense. But when you make a story and you appeal to the heart and it's more of an emotional, the human tendency is to really kind of dig a little bit deeper and to really want to support it a little bit more. And I think if we all look at our own philanthropic work, those causes that we're closest to, that stir our emotion, those are the ones we add another zero on when we're writing a check.
So for an organization like this, how do you go about doing your marketing and your advertising?
For us, it's a variety of ways. We've got a donor base that we were continuing to work with, but for us, because it's a kind of a faith-based mission, and so for us, it's churches, it's religious groups and organizations that are pro-life, but we're open to really all types of women to come into the clinic and come into the practice and be a part of it. When it comes to our fundraising, it's we have a certain group of people that have traditionally been supportive to us. So yes, we do direct mail, but it's really, we're getting out there and building those relationships. We're sitting down with them, finding out what's important to them. And kind of, as much as the medical practice is patient-centered, on the development side and the fundraising side of Divine Mercy Care, we're really donor-centered. We want to, marry the needs of Tepeyac Family Center and our mission to the desires of the donor and bring them together.
When you think about the Tepeyac, I mean, they do more than help out these women in need. Mm-hmm. They actually will take insured patients.
Absolutely. We're wonderful in a lot of ways. We accept 40 different insurance carriers. Wow. Which is really unheard of. Most medical practices of doctors, it's 5 to 7 insurance carriers that we'll take. We've got programs for young women of adolescence age, just trying to teaching them about their bodies, about women's health, and the issues that they're going to may or may not face throughout their life cycle. We help women in menopausal phases. We have perinatal or postpartum programs where women who've lost their babies, so we've got therapeutic and counseling sessions for women there. So we really kind of help women in a variety of ways. And honestly, the medicine is fantastic. Just in the past 60 days, the doctors at Fair Oaks Hospital were able to deliver 2 breech babies. Now, breech births have a 50% fatality rate, and they had 2 babies within a week's period of time. They were able to deliver them healthy, happy, 10 fingers and 10 toes and coming out smiling. So wow, it's good medicine on top of good spiritual cause.
Can you share with us some more information about the OBGYN aspect?
Yeah. We've got 5 doctors there, and great experience. It's been around for 22 years, working in Fairfax and delivering at Fair Oaks Hospital. And these doctors are Catholic doctors. They're Christian Protestant doctors, and they come together for this mission. And the doctors themselves have fantastic experience. It's, like I said before, it's great medicine. It's very effective. But I think it's really their approach and how they do it. It's a consultative, it's a sit down, it's a building relationship with the patient and really understanding what she is going through. And that's really the most effective part of this, is that, and it's from that kind of really personal relationship. I think of my own wife and our children, and the 17-year span between our first child and our last child and all the children in between. That relationship is a very tight bond that she has with really all 5 doctors that she's worked with in there.
For Divine Mercy Care, what do you feel like is your biggest challenge at this point?
I think it's twofold. It's effectively raising the money for the cause itself in a short period of time, to be honest with you. But the mission is one that's so strong that people really get it. The second is getting patients more in, and not being the best kept secret in Northern Virginia.
Amen. So if we invite you back, will you come back
Absolutely,
again and visit
sometimes?
Love to. And that's another show to wrap up. Remember, the details for our guests are located at the end of the roll scroll. In the meantime, have a pleasant day.